Shalom. I'm an American citizen. Hold on a second. I want to adjust the volume here. Yeah, okay, it's up. All right. My name is Yehoshua Ya'acov. This is being made from Jerusalem. I'm an American citizen. And this is in response to the student forum meeting at the University of Pittsburgh. Very interesting to listen to. I have a son and a daughter in America that's old enough to be most of your parents. So I'm aging myself. Okay, I'm a didactic scientist. I'm the author of the trilogy Humanomics, and it's two paradigms: the new cognitive behavioral science paradigm, receive it to give, and the new economic paradigm, the integration of labor. The latter is the central organizing principle of the American economy, beginning, with God's help, in 2009. The implications of a new policy and a development program more sophisticated than the Hoover Dam and certainly more expensive will bring about full employment, will eliminate the national debt, the Social Security debt. I listened to some things. I want to correct you first about Warren Buffett. I know Warren. I'm the one who wrote him 3 letters advising him to buy the Iskar in Israel for $4 billion. Warren Buffett is worth about, I guess, 55, 56 billion. He doesn't make 50 billion, as you said. That was a you misspoke. In the words of Hillary. Okay, so Warren is a very modest guy, and before you believe everything you hear and buy everything you see in the press about him, he's given the vast majority of his wealth to the Gates Foundation, over 40 billion, and he's going to give probably the rest of it. And he lives in a modest home, 3-bedroom home in Omaha, Nebraska. He loves baseball. He eats ice cream. He's a regular guy, and forget about it. He's not John D. Rockefeller. He's a different character, and he's a remarkable character, in fact. And he's a great man, and he's to be much admired and respected, and I do. As Bill Gates, these men have done phenomenal things in their life, made a great deal of money, and they're using it in philanthropy, and I have every reason to believe and expect that most fully they will use it for philanthropy. That said, okay. Now we've put the record straight on that. Now about the macroeconomic picture for America. The plan for 2009 is to build a world-class global technological infrastructure that will retool and retrain and re-educate the entire workforce of America, and will transform structurally employment so we get to 100% full employment, which means redefining full employment, because the economists in America, around the world, they see 4% as full employment, which is wrong. There's structural matters that have to be completely transformed, and it will be. Okay, the most important thing that you need to know as students is that there is a new economic paradigm. I'm the author of it. Its name is the integration of labor. It identifies information in classical terms as a new agent of transformation. Its model will be the model, descriptively, technologically, scientifically, which is the basis for the building of the world-class global technological infrastructure. This will require the DNC to, in its platform committee, to table a platform for the campaign, and we hope that Barack will be the one to run with it, and we expect he will be. Let's assume he's elected. So the national policy in America, the new national policy will be the new economic paradigm, and we will transform with that the structure of the economy, and the way we will do it is building a world-class global technological infrastructure. It will, from year one, at the end of the first year, will be creating domestic content jobs at the rate of tens of thousands a month running through year 11 and 12, when the diffusion curve will peak out and there will be full employment. There will be nobody to be employed and retrained at that time. The GDP will have doubled, beyond doubled. It will be 2.5 about, and we will have eliminated by years 17 and 18 of the project the national debt, including the amortization of the cost and interest. There will be, again I repeat, no national debt. The value of the dollar will have tripled. Now, I've had people say, well, this is such a rosy scenario, you know. Well, I remember the same cynics and buffoons whining and crying about what a stupid idea it was to put a man on the moon. Well, as a matter of fact, there's one thing that I do object to. It was a behavioral man. I would have preferred that we put a cognitive man on the moon, because now we're ready to put a behavioral man on Mars, which I think is a bad idea. I think we have to inhabit the quantum reality, which is redemption. And to do that, we have to end the denial of the collapse of the local reality globally, which has ended the exile of man and mankind. That's the context in which the world is changing. And the new economic paradigm, the trilogy that replaces the collapse of the local reality globally, which is the model of giving to receive, which was the model of man and mankind's exile, that's collapsed, that's finished. Soviet Union, and Yugoslavia, and Israel, in Iraq, and Lebanon, and five or six or seven other countries. It's going around the world, folks. It's already, on 9/11 visited America, and the implosion process of capitalism and its greed and its extreme bias of Wall Street over Main Street. These things are all ended. The local reality, giving to receive, is collapsed. What's the quantum reality? Receiving to give. Receiving what? Receiving the authentic you, to give the authentic you. To who? To you, to the real you, to your wife, your children, your family, your community, and your nation. I'm from the generation of ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So I took it seriously, and that's why I'm living for 22 years. I'm still an American citizen, living in Jerusalem, and I produced the trilogy Humanomics. It's about 2,500 pages in its fifth draft. It will be published on the web with a few hundred graphics. And I'm also the author of its two paradigms, Receiving to Give, Kabel B'Shvil Tet, Amen, and the integration of labor. Kabel B'Shvil Tet is the Hebrew for receiving to give. Sorry. Okay, and the integration of labor is the win-win situation for America and its economy. And that's the focus of the election in 2009. That's what I want you students to be aware of. I want you to be supportive of it. And so I'm the man from Jerusalem. And by the way, according to Warren, the intellectual property of the new economic paradigm, he says, is worth somewhere between, based on a market cap, somewhere between 50 and $100 billion. Oh my goodness, I'm rich. I live in two very modest, two small rooms, actually with a porch, a couple porches front and back. A small apartment with my two blessed young children and Sarah. We have a 7 and a 4-year-old, and their older brother is 46, and their older sister in America is 45 and 26. They're adults. So I've been blessed, and I want you to be blessed. And so for America and Americans, the American dream is not dead, and there are Americans alive and well who have served, who have answered the call, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. America hasn't done very much for Michael O'Donnell, now Yehoshua Ya'acov, and when I reached out and called for help on one occasion, it was a little, shall we say, a little disappointing. Senator Leahy can tell you the story of the obstruction of justice that Mr. Gonzalez ran with Mr. Cheney's direction. But okay, that's another story, and it's cold mashed potatoes. Look, the cynics are going to be cynics anyway. The vision and the content of America's future comes from those who have faith and dedication and hope, and who act upon that. As Thoreau said, it's okay to build castles in the sky. Now let's put foundations under them. Thank you for listening. I'm Yehoshua Ya'acov, and to all of the blessed students at the University of Pittsburgh, I wish you the blessing of Kabel B'Shvil Tet, which means receiving to give. That's the model of the redemption of man and mankind, where we ascend and inhabit the quantum reality. Thank you for listening. I'm Yehoshua Ya'acov. There's great change coming, folks, and great blessings also, and particularly for America and Americans. Thank you. Keep the faith, and vote for Obama. Thank you.